Hi, everyone, and welcome to our EdTech Tuesdays. Today, we're going to be learning on how to use iReady to unlock iReady to do tracking of progress and assigning lessons made easy for our students. Today, we're going to be honored by Roberto Martinez, and I'm going to be supporting him in this session. The objective after today, you will be able to track student progress and assign reading or math lessons in iReady for your students. Make sure that you register for today's session, which is 355-781, and sign in with a remote checking code, which is PSJA Tech. Keep your mic muted, and if you have any questions, go ahead and put them on the chat. Myself and Roberto will be looking over at the chat, and we'll be able to answer your questions as soon as we can. And without further ado, Roberto, take it away.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Roberto Martinez. I'm here at Kiever Elementary, and I'm the CIT for this campus. Real quick, we're just gonna go over an overview on iReady. I know some of you know how to use it, but we're gonna give you a little more in depth. So we're gonna be tracking students' progress. That's what I use in the classroom, and we're gonna be checking the minutes. And then also Valentin is gonna go over the yellow and the red flags. And at the end, I'm going to be talking about assigning students lessons by TEAC or by level. And then at the end of the session, we're going to be answering any questions by you guys.
You can click next.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so tracking progress. So this is a picture of one of my students. So on the right side, they have my path design, or it was designed by iReady after the BOY, the diagnostic. So that's what the kids, they see. But we're gonna show you another way so you can, it's gonna be teacher assigned lessons. So the right side is assigned by iReady, and the left side is the teacher assigned lessons. So we're gonna show you on how can you assign those lessons according to the levels or according to their needs. Okay. So we're gonna go over these instructions. I have the instructions in here how you can guys go step by step, but also I'm gonna show you how to do it in the actual iReady. So Valentin, can you give me access to go to my class?
Oh, you have access.
Have access?
It's in your computer. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back to iReady. So this is the actual dashboard. Okay. And then what we're talking about is going to be an instruction. So right now we're gonna be talking about the red flags and the yellow flags. So that's a perfect example on how can we track that. But in my case, I'm gonna go back to reading. That's what I teach. I teach reading. I teach math and science. So I'm gonna go to my math data basically. So this is the way it looks. And then I'm going to go to instruction. Okay. So, but before that, I'm gonna go to diagnostic. So this is diagnostic. So based on this data, that's how they got their lessons on their actual path based on their levels. Okay. So this is based on your blended learning. So you can use blended learning. So what I use in my classroom is this. So I look at my tier 2s and my tier 3s. So I see those two groups twice a week. Okay, so let's say on Mondays, I see one group. On Tuesday, I see the next group. So let's say Monday, I see my first group. I do the blended learning lessons. And then on Wednesday, I see my kids based on their needs on whatever I'm teaching on that week or before. Okay, so basically, so this is what we're going to see. But I'm going to show you how I use it in the classroom. So this is based on the diagnostic. So, but when you are trying to assign lessons, so what I do with my kids or my students, I go in instruction and then I see what they have. So I see their flags in here, and that's what I have. So based on this, so this is where the minutes, this is the minutes that you have, but this is a whole 4th grade. So when I click in here, this is what I see in the whole grade level. Okay. But I want to see my homeroom. So I go to my homeroom, I click on it, and this is what they have. Okay. So in this case, I have these students. I got all my students in here. Okay, we are not done this barely Tuesday, but I can see that 3 students have been logging in already in the minutes, and then 6 students from 10 to 29 minutes, and I have one already in between 30 and 49 minutes. So basically, this is my students, and this is their data. So what I want to show you is that you can see both. You can see the assigned lessons and the upcoming on the blended learning. So I'm going to show you that. So you click on I'm gonna click on my first student, and this is what they see based on their levels. So for example, if you notice, it says early third. These are the lessons that are assigned by their own pathway, okay? So this is their own pathway. That's how you see it. So those are going to be upcoming, and you can see if they're passing or not and how many minutes they've been on task, okay? So that's how you see it. But now, let's say, you know what, this student is doing really good, so let me assign some lessons. So if you notice, these are the lessons assigned by their level, but these ones are assigned by me. You see that? So that's how can you identify those lessons, okay? And you can see their scores and their minutes, and then when the last time they were sharing or they were logging in, okay? But I want to go and assign a lesson for him. So let's say I'm teaching this week. I'm teaching geometry, and you know what? Yes, they have the lessons on blended learning, but I'm going to assign lessons on their whatever they're learning for this week. For this week, I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to go to assess and teach. I go to this level, it's called instruction, and then I'm gonna go to math. Okay, so I'm gonna assign the lessons for my students. So for example, I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna go by domain, and I'm gonna be teaching geometry. So I click on geometry, and then I go to 4th grade. And then I can see all the lessons already identified by geometry and the grade level. And then I can choose the English and Spanish. In my case, I'm gonna do it in English, and then I'm gonna click on measure angles and practice on measuring angles. See, it's real simple. And then and then if you want to say, you know what, let me preview the lesson. So you can click on the title of the lesson, and then you can actually preview the lesson. It will give you the tick too. So on this lesson, I'm hitting 3 ticks, not just 1. So if I go to quiz and I go to OK, you can preview the lesson, so you can do it with the students.
Which picture shows the protractor lined up correctly with the angle?
See? So now they can see it. So they can get a preview. So if I don't need that, if I like the lesson.
Are you sure you want to exit the lesson?
And then I will exit the lesson. Then I'm going to do what I'm going to do next. I'm going to assign it to the students. And then you got an option. You can assign it by students. And then if I go by students, you can see which students they're going to receive that lesson. Okay. You can pick and choose. But if you notice, I got my homeroom and I got the whole grade level. So I can change that too. Okay. But in this case, I'm going to assign it to my class. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to measure angles and then practice measuring angles. Or actually, no, I'm going to go identify. So I'm going to go identify angles and class. That's what I'm going to do. I'm teaching only identifying angles. So I'm going to assign it. And I'm going to send it to my homeroom. So what you do, you can do it to the group, or I can assign it to my homeroom. So that's what I'm going to do. Assign it to my homeroom. I click next. And then in here, you can assign up to 10 lessons. Okay, you cannot go beyond that. And if you want to do the same date, when you assign, you go here, same day for all. You click on it, and they say I'm going to start today, because that's what I thought today. I was teaching identifying angles, and then I'm going to give them like maybe 2 weeks. But I know we're going to be out for the Thanksgiving break, so probably I'm going to go all the way to the 4th. Okay, and then you assign the lessons, and that's what you have to do. I assign lessons. It's just quick. That's easy. And then I'm going to go here. And then if I go back to teach and assess, I can go to instruction and then go to math. And then the students are going to have their lessons. And you can pick 2. Let's say they're not ready. You can go to 2nd grade. You can go to 3rd grade and based on their levels. Does anybody have any questions about assigning lessons on iReady?
I don't see any questions, Roberto.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. So now let's go back to the slides. I can't control it for some reason.
Right.
All right. So my thing is not moving anymore. Let me request control again.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, it's not wanting to move on my end. So would you guide me and put in the slides again?
So I did the track in progress. I did assigning lessons. The next one is going to be the red and the yellow flags.
Yes. Thank you. So for this, we're going to be discussing what happens when we get warning signs in iReady. iReady will give us two types of warning signs. The first one is a warning sign that is yellow, a triangle, and the second one is the stop sign that is red. The meaning of these is that we get a yellow warning sign when a student has failed one lesson, the same lesson, twice, which receives the student you might want to provide some intervention to your student at that time. But when you see a red stop sign for a student, this means that this student failed 2 consecutive lessons twice in the same domain. So if there was a lesson 1 for high frequency words, and then the second lesson was 2, the student failed lesson 1 twice, and then lesson 2 twice. That gets the domain shut off, and intervention is needed for the student. Can you go to the next slide, please? So when you do that, you will need to go into the personalized learning instruction summary for your class, and then go specific to your students that you want to target. We're going to go live right now, and we're going to show you in a bit. But this is more or less in the personalized instruction summary for a student, what you will see. You will see the 4 lessons consecutively. The first one was that one with how characters act. That one was not passed twice. And then the second one was identifying author's purpose, was not passed twice again. When that happened, that's why you get that little red sign for the domain. So looking at your lesson, this area will let you know which lessons your student failed. You will click on the first lesson that you see failed, select instruction, and then you will go over the lesson with the student to find out what is that they're not understanding from the concept. Or maybe they're just not paying attention and clicking. So this will allow you to know which course to take to support your student. If we go to the next slide, it shows you exactly what happens when you go and you're going to try to turn on the domain. First, you're going to click the overview, and this is the same area that we saw before, but it's the top area, and it will show you all 6 domains that are available. Now, some domains do not pertain to certain grade levels. For example, comprehension and comprehension close reading are not part of the early grades. And starting after the end of 1st grade, phonological awareness is not available for the students. They mean that phonological awareness should be already known and learned from kinder and 1st. It actually comes all the way from pre-K. And then the rest of them will be available to the students, depending on how they score in the diagnostic. So what you will do, you will click on that view area for the domain that is shut off, and then you will look for the lessons that were not passed. You are able to put the student back to the lesson that they didn't pass the first time, because you will see those 2 lessons that weren't passed that shut off the domain, and put that placeholder back in there. Turn on the domain on the top, and then click on the green arrow at the bottom. This automatically will turn on back the domain for the student. If you have experience that some of your students are not seeing lessons whatsoever, either in math or English reading, it's because all the domains are shut off. So you do need to do intervention for the students. Now, Roberto, can we go into your iReady? I know that we have student information, but we'll blur it for the video. So if you go please to reports. Well, actually in here, close that real quick. Just click on reports again. There we go. If you see instruction, you automatically see how many stop signs and warning signs you have for your class. So this is for math. If you switch to reading on the left, it will tell you how many stop signs and warning signs you have for your students. So go ahead and click on there in instruction, and then scroll down and click on monitor personalized instruction. This is the instructional personalized area, and you can see where your students are, and it will show you on the left the alerts. Roberto, if you click right there where it says alerts, there's a up arrow and a down arrow on the top. If you click on there, you will, all the alerts of the students that are there, it will show up first all the warning signs, and then all the stop signs and then all the warning signs. I know we've been showing data. We don't want to show the student names, Roberto. So just click on a student real quick on the name. Click on, and then scroll down. And there you go. We can stay here. We don't show any more student names. So if we go here with this student, we can see that the student has been only getting one domain. Scroll to the top, all the way to the top, but not, yeah, that right there. You can see that that student has 3 domains off. They are not part of phonological awareness. They are not part of comprehension because that doesn't start until later. They're not placed on the grade level that should be in 2nd grade. And since high frequency words, vocabulary, and comprehension are all 3 of them are shut off, that student is only getting lessons in phonics. So we can see that if you scroll down, the student has only been able to get lessons in phonics for the last few days. You can keep on scrolling down. There you go. We do have some teacher assigned lessons in there as well, but you do see in here that the high frequency word domain was shut off back in the 16th of October. What this means is that the second time that they failed consecutively the 2nd lesson was that day, and it will shut off the domain. So now we know that this students failed lesson 5 and lesson 6 on high frequency word. You can keep on going down and it will show you also the other domains that were shut off. Comprehension, this student was on the 25th of September that they have not been getting lessons because they didn't pass answers about stories. They failed it twice, and then identifying characters. The same thing will happen with the following domain. So what we can do now, let's do one together. Roberto, scroll up and not all the way up so we don't show student data names. Get it right there. That's perfect. So what you will do, like I stated before, click on view on one of the domains. So let's click on the high frequency words, Roberto. And this will tell us the domain is off. As you can tell, the toggle is off. You can scroll down. You can see that where you see the diagnostic placement on the left, that's where they were graded when they took the diagnostic. So they finished early K, but when they try to take the mid K lesson, they did not pass it twice. So what you will do is you click on the adjustment placement on the right, right where right next to the diagnostic, the little tier looking thing on the right of there we go. You click on it and it will place the student back in there when you turn on the domain. So you will have to toggle where it says domain off, toggle it back on, and then you will press on the next button and the green yellow, but don't press it right now. Just go X again. And then we know what lesson the student didn't pass. We also know from down. So if we scroll all the way down, Roberto, and go back to where the high frequency word lessons that the student didn't pass, you can see that the first one they didn't pass. Go up, go up. Up, up, up. Oh no, down, down. There you go. There it is. High frequency. Let's click on lesson 5. That's the one since the beginning they had trouble with. We'll click on lesson 5, and then we will play the lesson with the student. So we can see what the student interaction is with the system, and we can get more information if the student is actually paying attention, clicking away, or not understanding the concept. Go ahead and press X.
Are you sure you want to exit the lesson?
Once you've done the lesson with this, you will get more information, some more qualitative data from your student to see what the concern is with that student, to be able to support that student and be successful with their lessons. But that's pretty much how you assign, how do you turn on back the domains, and how you understand the meaning of the stop sign and the yield signs. Ms. Butanda, Ms. Rivera, do you guys have any questions? Everybody's very quiet. If there's
Hello. Sorry.
Hi.
No, not right now. I came in a little late, so just wanted to see what I can pick up.
No, so what we did today, we were assigning lessons, and what Mr. Martinez was showing us, how he's assigning teacher assigned lessons for math. Those are perfect also for your teachers that are doing Spanish, since they have to assign lessons right now to the Spanish students for reading. And so that will apply for that. And Roberto, when you assign the lessons to the students for math, when is the time that the students are doing the teacher assigned lessons?
Oh, they're doing it on during blended learning. So one day they do the pathway created by iReady, and the next following day they do the teacher created. Yes.
So you do the teacher assign, and then you're doing what you're teaching in there. So you're doing tier 1 instruction and signing there, and then the students are also able to do their pathway on the other days. It's really interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, I do both because I have to see them 2 times a week.
Okay. Great. All right. If there's no further questions, Ms. Rivera, was this any information of this that you need for your teachers? Let me know. I will be able to support you with that. And then we're recording the video, so I'm just gonna edit some names and data information in there, and then we'll upload it into our YouTube channel.